Welcome back to our channel. Today we unravel the captivating story of Anthony Quinn, a man whose remarkable versatility earned him the title, the Man of Many Faces. Known for his powerful performances and commanding presence, Quinn's life was a tapestry of triumphs, struggles, and transformation. From a childhood shaped by the Mexican Revolution to becoming the first Mexican-American Academy Award winner, Quinn's journey was anything but ordinary. Along the way, he carved out a unique path in Hollywood, brought dignity to diverse roles, and left an indelible mark as both an artist and activist. But beyond the screen, his life was filled with personal challenges, passionate relationships, and a legacy of resilience. Join us as we explore the fascinating chapters of his extraordinary life, from his early struggles to his legendary performances and the lasting impact he left on the world of cinema. Childhood Anthony Quinn's remarkable story begins in 1915, in the heart of the Mexican Revolution, a time of turmoil and transformation in Chihuahua, Mexico. Born to parents whose identities were as complex and rich as the era they lived in, Anthony inherited a legacy of resilience and courage. His father, Francisco Frank Quinn, carried the boldness of his Irish ancestry, while his mother, Manuela Paladis Waka, was deeply rooted in the strength and traditions of her Mexican Indian heritage. Together, they were not just witnesses to history, but active participants in Pancho Villa's revolutionary forces, embodying the spirit of change that defined the time. This revolutionary fire was perhaps the first spark in Quinn's life, setting the tone for the defiant, ambitious man he would later become. But his childhood was far from idyllic. When Manuela made the daring decision to flee to the United States with baby Anthony, it was an act of sheer survival. Hiding in a coal wagon, mother and son braved unimaginable dangers to cross the border, escaping the violence and instability of their homeland. It was an early lesson in determination and grit for the infant Anthony, even if he was too young to understand it at the time. Reuniting with Frank Quinn in the United States was just the beginning of the family's uphill battle. Like so many immigrant families of the era, they faced the harsh realities of poverty and instability. They toiled as migrant fruit pickers, moving from Texas to California, driven by the hope of a better future. Eventually, they settled in East Los Angeles, where Anthony began to find his footing. Amidst the struggles of daily life, a young boy's spark for creativity began to emerge. Even as a child, Anthony displayed an undeniable curiosity and hunger for something greater. Shining shoes to help his family make ends meet, he was already experiencing the weight of responsibility. Yet this did not dampen his sense of wonder. He was drawn to the arts and fascinated by the rituals of the church. One particularly poignant moment shaped his early aspirations. While working as a shoeshine boy, Anthony caught a glimpse of a church's interior, its grandeur and rituals leaving him mesmerized. The Latin chants and the majesty of the altar stirred something profound within him. Encouraged by a priest who saw potential in the young boy, Anthony even considered becoming a priest himself. The priest took Anthony under his wing, fostering his love for the sacred arts until he was 14. This chapter in his life reveals the duality of Quinn's character, at once drawn to spiritual reverence and the artistic grandeur that would later define his career. However, life had other plans for Anthony Quinn. At the age of 9, tragedy struck when his father was killed in a car accident. This devastating loss forced Anthony to grow up quickly. The sudden absence of his father left a void, but it also ignited a fierce sense of responsibility in the young boy. Determined to support his family, Anthony threw himself into an array of jobs. He shined shoes, dug ditches, and even drove taxis, all before adulthood. It was during this time of struggle that Anthony discovered his athleticism, stepping into the boxing ring as a professional fighter. His brief boxing career was marked by an impressive winning streak of 16 matches, showcasing his physical prowess and unyielding determination. Yet a single defeat caused him to reevaluate his path. His trainer told him he lacked the ruthlessness required to be a champion fighter, a statement that, rather than breaking him, would steer him toward his true calling. Leaving boxing behind, Quinn began to explore the artistic passions that had always lingered in his heart. He dabbled in drawing, sculpting, and architecture, each pursuit shaping his understanding of creativity and expression. These early explorations laid the foundation for the Anthony Quinn the world would come to know, a man whose life and career would be a testament to resilience, reinvention, and the transformative power of the arts. Family Anthony Quinn's early years were marked by resilience and struggle, a theme that would later define his life and career. His family's journey to the United States during the chaos of the Mexican Revolution was one of survival against incredible odds. Though they initially lived a life of hardship as migrant workers, a glimmer of opportunity came when his father, Francisco, secured a job at the William Selig studio in Los Angeles. This was no ordinary job. Francisco started by caring for animals on the lot, and later trained as a cameraman, a rare position of responsibility for someone of his background at the time. For young Anthony, the studio was a world of wonder, filled with larger-than-life characters and the magic of filmmaking. It was here that his lifelong passion for the arts first began to take shape. Anthony spent hours sketching movie stars and marveling at the process of storytelling through cinema. His father's involvement in the industry planted a seed that would later blossom into one of Hollywood's most remarkable careers. But just as life seemed to be offering a glimpse of stability, tragedy struck. When Anthony was only 9 years old, his father was fatally struck by a car. The loss was devastating, not only emotionally, but also financially. Overnight, Anthony had to shoulder responsibilities far beyond his years. To support his grieving family, he worked tirelessly, taking on jobs as diverse as shoe shining, ditch digging, and even taxi driving. These experiences hardened him, instilling a work ethic and determination that would become hallmarks of his personality. Despite the challenges, his artistic spirit never wavered, and he continued to draw inspiration from the world around him, a trait that would serve him well in his future acting career. In 1937, Anthony married Catherine DeMille, the adopted daughter of legendary director Cecil B. DeMille. Their union symbolized a bridge between Anthony's humble beginnings and Hollywood's elite circles. The couple's life seemed idyllic, blessed with 5 children and the promise of a bright future. But tragedy soon cast a shadow over their happiness. Their firstborn son, Christopher, drowned in a neighbor's lily pond when he was just a toddler. The neighbor in question was none other than comedian W.C. Fields, who was away at the time of the incident. The loss shattered the family. It was a heartache that Anthony carried with him for the rest of his life, often mentioning Christopher in interviews as a symbol of love and loss. To honor the tragedy, W.C. Fields had the pond filled in, a quiet gesture of remorse and respect for the grieving family. Career Anthony Quinn's rise to fame is a story of talent, determination, and groundbreaking achievements that left an indelible mark on Hollywood and beyond. Starting with humble roles in small theater productions and films, Quinn's career took off when he landed a lead role in Mae West's Clean Beds. While this wasn't a major production, it was a pivotal step for the young actor, showcasing his natural charisma and setting the stage for what was to come. His true breakthrough, however, came in 1952 with Viva Zapata, a performance that not only earned him the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor, but also made him the first Mexican-American to achieve such recognition. This moment was monumental, not just for Quinn, but for Hollywood as a whole. In an industry where diversity was often overlooked, Quinn's win was a beacon of hope for aspiring actors from underrepresented backgrounds. Fans and critics alike praised his powerful portrayal of Eufemio Zapata, a character brimming with raw emotion and depth. Media outlets celebrated the win as a step forward in Hollywood's slow march toward inclusivity, with headlines like "Quinn Breaks Barriers" appearing in newspapers across the globe. Quinn's victory resonated deeply with audiences, especially within the Mexican and Latino communities, who saw him as a trailblazer. Fans flooded theaters to see his films, with some traveling long distances just to catch a glimpse of the man who had made history. Social gatherings and cultural events often featured his image, and he became a source of pride and inspiration for many. His Oscar speech, though brief, struck a chord with millions when he humbly dedicated the award to the dreamers who dare to cross boundaries. The statement went viral in its time, with newspapers quoting it for weeks, cementing Quinn's status as not just an actor, but a cultural icon. Following this historic win, doors opened to prestigious international collaborations. One of the most celebrated was with Federico Fellini in the Italian masterpiece La Strada. Playing Zampano, a rough and tormented strongman, Quinn delivered a performance that was both raw and deeply human. The film became an instant classic, with fans marveling at Quinn's ability to embody a character so brutal, yet heartbreakingly vulnerable. Audiences wept in theaters, and critics lauded his performance as transformative. In Italy, La Strada sparked a surge of admiration for Quinn, with some dubbing him Italy's adopted son in entertainment columns. The accolades didn't stop there. Quinn's talent for portraying diverse characters made him a standout in an industry often criticized for typecasting. His ability to seamlessly transition between roles, whether as a Mexican revolutionary, a Greek fisherman, or an Arab leader, captivated audiences worldwide. Films like The Guns of Navarone and Zorba the Greek became defining moments in his career. In Zorba the Greek, his portrayal of Alexis Zorba, a man who embraces life with unbridled passion, resonated with fans around the world. The iconic scene where Zorba dances on the beach became a cultural phenomenon, with fans attempting to replicate the moves at weddings and social events. Social media of the time, letters to editors and fan clubs, buzzed with praise for Quinn's infectious energy in the role. Zorba, the Greek, became a cultural phenomenon, cementing Quinn's place as one of Hollywood's most versatile actors. Major publications like the New York Times praised him as the living embodiment of the human spirit, while fans around the world flocked to theaters to witness his magnetic performance. His impact extended beyond the screen, as the traditional Greek dance seen in the movie became an international symbol of joy and resilience, thanks to Quinn's interpretation. But Anthony Quinn's artistry wasn't confined to acting. He was also an accomplished painter and sculptor, with exhibitions held around the world. His art was deeply personal, influenced by Cubism and Post-Impressionism, and reflected the same intensity and passion he brought to his roles. Critics and fans were fascinated by this side of him, often praising his ability to channel emotions into visual forms. A 1958 solo exhibition in Paris drew enormous crowds, with fans marveling at how the same hands that had brought Zorba and Zampano to life could also create such intricate and evocative sculptures. Art critics hailed him as a Renaissance man, capable of excelling in multiple disciplines. Scandals. Anthony Quinn wasn't just an actor. He was a man unafraid to stand firmly by his beliefs, even when it meant walking a path fraught with controversy. From the shadowy grip of the McCarthy era to the heated debates surrounding the message, Quinn's life was a testament to courage, resilience, and an unwavering commitment to justice. During the McCarthy era, the House Un-American Activities Committee, HUAS, targeted countless members of Hollywood, accusing them of communist sympathies in a climate of fear and paranoia. For Quinn, this was more than a political witch hunt. It was a direct threat to the ideals of freedom and expression he cherished. As an outspoken advocate for marginalized communities, Quinn's activism caught the committee's attention, putting him squarely in their crosshairs. But instead of cowering, he stood his ground. This philosophy carried over to his acting, where he consistently sought roles that transcended stereotypes, using his platform to challenge societal norms. He famously declared, "How can an actor be real in his work if he hasn't had some convictions regarding the problems in the world around him?" His defiance earned him admiration among his peers and fans alike, who saw him as a rare voice of reason in an industry that often chose silence to avoid conflict. The media at the time took notice. Headlines range from praise to cautionary tales, with some calling Quinn a hero for the silenced, while others criticized his bold stance as career suicide. Letters from fans poured in, with one admirer writing, "Mr. Quinn, your courage inspires us all. You remind us that speaking up for justice is worth the risk, even when it's unpopular." One of the most defining examples of Quinn's willingness to confront controversy came with his role in The Message, 1976, a daring cinematic exploration of the origins of Islam. Directed by Mustafa Akkad, the film aimed to present the story of the Prophet Muhammad and the rise of Islam with deep respect for religious traditions. To avoid offending Islamic sensibilities, Akkad made the creative decision never to depict the Prophet directly, a move that was both innovative and risky. Despite these precautions, the project faced fierce backlash. Religious groups protested, fearing misrepresentation, while others questioned whether such a sensitive topic should be tackled at all. Quinn, who played Hamza, a revered figure in Islamic history, found himself at the center of the storm. The media ran heated debates about the film, with some defending its boldness and others condemning its very existence. Fan reactions were equally divided. Supporters of the film praised its respectful portrayal of Islamic history, with one fan remarking, "Quinn's performance as Hamza brought dignity and depth to a story that deserved to be told. He wasn't just acting, he was honoring a legacy." However, detractors remained vocal, particularly after a tragic incident overshadowed the film's U.S. release. In a shocking turn of events, a faction of the Nation of Islam staged a violent siege in Washington, D.C., mistakenly believing that the message depicted the Prophet Muhammad. The misunderstanding led to tragic loss of life and temporarily halted the film's release. Although the movie eventually gained international acclaim and was recognized as a pioneering exploration of Islamic history, the incident marred its legacy in the U.S. market. For Quinn, the challenges surrounding the message only reinforced his belief in the power of storytelling. He often spoke of the film with pride, calling it a project that bridged cultural divides. In interviews, he reflected on the controversy, saying, "The message was more than a film. It was an attempt to build understanding in a world that often thrives on division. I knew it wouldn't be easy, but I also knew it was necessary." Despite the difficulties, the message went on to receive critical acclaim in many parts of the world, with fans and critics alike praising Quinn's heartfelt performance. The film earned an Academy Award nomination for its score and cemented its place as a landmark in global cinema. Marriage, Anthony Quinn's romantic life was as captivating and controversial as the roles he played on screen, a whirlwind of passion, infidelity, and complexity that often became fodder for tabloids and captivated the public's imagination. His nearly 30-year marriage to Catherine DeMille, the adopted daughter of legendary filmmaker Cecil B. DeMille, appeared on the surface to be a Hollywood fairy tale. However, beneath the glamorous veneer, their union was tested by Quinn's insatiable appetite for adventure, not just in his career, but in his personal life. In 1962, while working on the set of Barabbas, Anthony Quinn met Yolanda Adalori, a wardrobe assistant whose quiet elegance and understanding of his artistic spirit captivated him. This affair ultimately ended his nearly 30-year marriage to Catherine DeMille, a union that had once been considered a Hollywood fairy tale. The media erupted with headlines like "Hollywood's golden couple splits amid scandal," while fans expressed mixed reactions, some disheartened by the breakup, others intrigued by the ever-charismatic Quinn. In 1966, he married Yolanda, and they had 3 children together. However, his reputation as a restless romantic lingered. One fan famously remarked, "He's Zorba in real life." You can't cage someone like Anthony Quinn's affairs with Hollywood icons, like Rita Hayworth and Ingrid Bergman, further cemented his reputation as a romantic enigma. His alleged relationship with Hayworth, one of Hollywood's most glamorous stars, was the subject of endless fascination. Fans speculated about the nature of their connection, often citing their palpable chemistry during public appearances. Hayworth herself reportedly described Quinn as a man who could light up a room with his presence. Similarly, his rumored liaison with Ingrid Bergman added another layer to his mystique. Bergman, known for her grace and sophistication, was said to have shared an intense connection with Quinn, fueled by their mutual passion for the arts. These relationships not only made headlines, but also sparked lively debates among fans and media outlets. Some admired Quinn's candid embrace of love and imperfection, while others criticized his inability to commit fully. Radio talk shows and fan letters reflected the divided opinions, with one admirer writing, "Anthony Quinn lives life as it's meant to be lived, boldly, passionately, and unapologetically." Through it all, Yolanda remained a significant figure in Quinn's life. She was seen by many as the anchor to his tempestuous nature, offering stability amidst his ever-changing world. Photographs of the couple attending premieres and international events often showed Yolanda's poised demeanor alongside Quinn's larger-than-life presence. Yet their marriage eventually succumbed to the same forces that had ended his first, with their divorce marking the close of another tumultuous chapter in Quinn's romantic journey. Even as Quinn's infidelity made headlines, fans couldn't deny the allure of his personality. In interviews, he often spoke about love with a mix of regret and romanticism. "I've loved deeply, maybe too deeply," he admitted in one candid conversation. "But love, for me, is the essence of life. Without it, what is there?" Such statements only fueled his legend, presenting him as a man driven by a boundless capacity for passion, even if it came at a cost. Media coverage of Quinn's relationships painted him as a figure who defied societal norms, choosing instead to live life according to his own rules. Television specials and magazine retrospectives often described him as a true romantic, a man whose heart was too big for any one person to contain. Fans flocked to theaters to see him on screen, drawn not just by his acting but by the mystique of his off-screen persona. In the eyes of many, his imperfections only made him more relatable, a reminder that even larger-than-life figures are human at their core. Other relationships. Anthony Quinn's personal life was as extraordinary as the roles he played on screen. Known for his fiery passions and larger-than-life persona, Quinn fathered 13 children with 5 different women. Among them were Kathy Benvin, his secretary, and Friedel Dunbar, a Los Angeles event organizer. His love life was far from conventional, yet it showcased a man who embraced his emotions, his flaws, and above all, his role as a father. Despite his intricate family dynamics, Quinn maintained close and meaningful relationships with his children. He was not just a Hollywood icon to them. He was Dad. In interviews, Quinn often described his children as his greatest joy, saying, "They're the most important roles I've ever had in life." This sentiment resonated deeply with his fans, who admired how he balanced his chaotic career and personal life with a genuine commitment to his family. Stories from his children paint a picture of a father who, though imperfect, was present and invested in their lives. He celebrated their individuality, supported their dreams, and found pride in their achievements. Several of his children followed in his footsteps, pursuing acting careers of their own. Media outlets often highlighted these relationships, portraying Quinn as a patriarch whose love extended beyond the spotlight. But Quinn's paternal instincts didn't stop with his biological children. While filming in Brazil, he met an 11-year-old girl named Maria Rosa B. Silva during an autograph session. Something about her captivated him. He later described feeling a profound connection, even suggesting that they may have shared a past life. Moved by her circumstances, he offered to finance her education abroad, hoping to provide opportunities she wouldn't otherwise have. For fans, this story epitomized Quinn's compassionate and spontaneous nature. Media coverage of the incident called him a man with a heart as big as his screen presence. One admirer commented on social media, "This is exactly why we love Anthony Quinn. He wasn't just a star. He was a man who cared about people no matter where he met them." Unfortunately, this heartfelt gesture remained unfinished. After filming wrapped, no further communication with Maria Rosa followed. Some have speculated that logistical challenges or Quinn's busy schedule may have hindered the follow-through. Regardless, the story remains a testament to his capacity for empathy and his belief in the power of human connection. Quinn's fans have often reflected on his layered persona, a man who was both extraordinary and deeply relatable. His personal life was far from flawless, but it was authentic. As one fan wrote in a tribute, Anthony Quinn taught us that being human is about embracing all sides of life, the good, the messy, and the beautiful. The media's portrayal of Quinn's family life often highlighted his ability to stay connected, despite the challenges of fame and a demanding career. Tabloids chronicled his relationships and children, but profiles in more serious publications like the New York Times praised his efforts to maintain a genuine bond with each of his kids. His later years only deepened this narrative. After undergoing heart surgery, Quinn often spoke about how his relationships with his children became even closer, giving him a renewed sense of purpose. Death, Anthony Quinn's passing in 2001 at the age of 86, marked the end of a monumental chapter in Hollywood history. Succumbing to respiratory failure, the legendary actor left behind a legacy that extended far beyond his remarkable career on screen. His death was a deeply emotional moment for fans around the world, as they mourned the loss of a man who had brought so many unforgettable characters to life. But as the world said goodbye to Quinn, the tributes and celebrations of his legacy poured in, proving that his impact would continue to resonate for generations. Anthony Quinn once had a grand vision of being laid to rest atop a mountain in Chihuahua, Mexico, a place tied deeply to his heritage. But during a visit there, his wife asked, "How will I ever bring you flowers if you're so far away?" This heartfelt question made him rethink. With a soft laugh, Quinn chose a simpler yet deeply personal resting place under a beloved tree on his family estate in Rhode Island, a poetic end to a life that embraced both the grand and the humble. This choice, described by fans as poetic, reflected his love for nature and the peace he found at home, a fitting end for a man whose life was filled with extraordinary journeys. News of Quinn's death sent shockwaves through Hollywood and beyond. Tributes from co-stars, directors, and fans filled newspapers, television broadcasts, and online forums. Social media platforms of the time, such as early fan forums and entertainment news sites, buzzed with stories of how Quinn had touched lives. He wasn't just an actor, he was a force of nature, one fan wrote. Another shared, "Every time I watch Zorba the Greek, I feel like Anthony Quinn is teaching me how to live fearlessly, passionately, and with joy." Television specials dedicated to his life and career aired worldwide, with clips of his most iconic performances, from his Oscar-winning turn in Viva Zapata to the unforgettable dance on the beach in Zorba the Greek. It wasn't just the fans who felt the loss. Directors, co-stars, and fellow actors couldn't stop sharing heartfelt stories about the man behind the iconic roles. Federico Fellini, the legendary director of La Strada, once called Quinn a titan of emotion, a sentiment echoed in many tributes. He could embody pain, joy, and humanity all in a single scene, another filmmaker remarked during a televised tribute. The Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences honored him with a posthumous remembrance during the Oscars, showcasing the breadth of his talent and the trail he blazed for actors of diverse backgrounds. As media outlets commemorated his life, many also revisited Quinn's contributions beyond acting. His work as a painter and sculptor took center stage, with galleries hosting retrospective exhibitions of his art. His sculptures, often inspired by his global travels and cultural roots, were praised for their raw emotion and creativity. Critics celebrated his ability to capture the same energy in his visual art that he brought to his performances. Fans flocked to these exhibitions, eager to connect with another facet of the man who had inspired them on screen. One admirer at a gallery showing in Paris said, "Looking at his sculptures, you can feel the fire that burned within him, the passion that made him Anthony Quinn." His resting place in Rhode Island became a symbolic destination for fans seeking to pay their respects. The tree under which Quinn is buried became a quiet shrine, with visitors leaving flowers, notes, and small mementos. In interviews, his family spoke of the significance of this tree, a source of comfort for Quinn in his later years. He had named it and often joked that it was his best audience, as he shared stories with it during his morning walks. This quirky yet touching habit only deepened the affection fans felt for him, seeing him not just as a star, but as a man who appreciated life's simple joys. Even in death, Anthony Quinn's spirit seemed larger than life. Tributes on television and radio recounted his ability to portray a staggering array of nationalities and cultures, from Greek to Mexican, Arab to Italian. His versatility was celebrated as a groundbreaking achievement in a Hollywood that often confined actors of color to narrow roles. The Los Angeles Times described him as Hollywood's original global citizen, while fans remembered him as an actor who gave dignity to every character he portrayed. And that's the incredible story of Anthony Quinn, a true Hollywood icon whose life and career embodied the spirit of reinvention and resilience. From portraying a wide array of characters across nationalities to making an impact as a political activist and artist, Quinn's legacy continues to inspire generations. His journey reminds us of the power of embracing one's heritage, breaking barriers, and leaving a meaningful mark on the world. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of Hollywood mysteries. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories about the legends who shaped cinema history. See you in the next episode.